Hello, welcome back. My name is Denise Yapomaije. This is AM News. Now, it was introduced with fanfare, celebrated as Ghana's bold step toward cutting carbon emissions. But 1 year after its passage, the emission levy has disappeared, repealed quietly, almost silently, leaving behind more questions than answers. Now, new research suggests it may never have worked in the first place. Clean Air Beat reporter Michael Ashali has more in the following report.
The Health Effects Institute estimates that at least 32,000 people die every year in Ghana from exposure to fine particulate matter. The biggest sources of this toxic mix are burning and tailpipe emissions. By 2018, Accra's Central Business District alone was emitting more than 4 million tons of carbon dioxide, levels which Director of Transport of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Alex Johnson, says were far beyond what planners had anticipated.
2018, when we first launched our climate action plan, the projection was to achieve a reduction that sees emission levels at about 4 million metric tons in 2035. But by 2021, when Google made some data available, Environmental Insights Explorer made some of these data resources available, we realized that we were even already clocking 4 million metric tons emissions within a certain sector of the Accra space, especially towards the CBD.
Environmental scientist Dr. Raphael Aku says the evidence back then already pointed clearly to the sources.
We have discovered that there are about 4 to 6 major sources that are polluting the air in Accra. It includes traffic, waste burning, dust particles, even construction, among other things are contributing. Even sea salt, because Accra is on the ocean.
Government's response was the Emissions Levy. The Emissions Levy Act, passed in December 2023 and implemented in February 2024, imposed annual charges of 75 to 300 cedis on petrol and diesel vehicles based on engine size. Government said the levy would cut emissions and fund environmental action. But even as the levy took effect, skepticism followed quickly from drivers on the road.
The government could have engaged the ordinary citizens on this as well. We as passengers have little to say on this issue because we have no choice.
Too much.
From lawmakers in Parliament,
they have signed on to an IMF conditionality which compels government to raise the threshold of the revenue as a percentage of GDP to a certain level. And so they are looking at every means to tax the people of Ghana.
And even from clean air advocates who questioned the levy's real intention.
If you want to use emissions levy as a tool to reduce pollution, the way you target it is different. What I think we were trying to introduce in Ghana, in my humble opinion, and this is my personal opinion, I thought was more of a revenue generation tool.
Many argue that the levy, although framed as an environmental measure, functioned more as a revenue pipeline than a true deterrent to pollution. So when Parliament repealed the levy in 2025, it came as little surprise.
Emissions tax repeal bill. So emissions levy is gone.
Atmospheric scientist Dr. Daniel Westerveld, who has spent years tracking Ghana's pollution trends, set out to measure the levy's real impact during the single year it was in force.
We didn't find a whole lot of specific policies that were targeting air pollution, but we did find things like this emissions levy, which wasn't maybe designed purely to tackle air pollution, but had it as one of the possible co-benefits.
Using satellite data and ground-level sensors, Dr. Westerveld found the levy delivered almost nothing. Transport-related pollution remained virtually unchanged, with no measurable drop in fine particulate matter, even outside the Harmattan season.
That's right. We do have what we're calling the Gridded Africa Surface Pollution Dataset, or GRASP for short. And it also goes back all the way to the year 2005 up to the end of 2024. We compared February 2024 through the rest of 2024 to previous years. So we compared February 2024 to February 2023 to February 2022 to February 2021, etc. That way, you can sort of control for the fact that there is seasonal changes in the PM 2.5. The other thing that we did is we looked at it in different months. So it's not just February, it's all the months of the year that, so we looked at, for example, June of 2024 and compared that to June of 2023, 21, 22, etc. So we were able to actually look at non-Harmattan periods as well to see if there was any changes that would be completely independent of the Harmattan. And even in those cases, there wasn't any statistically significant changes in PM 2.5 that could be attributed just to the emissions levy.
Over the period, vehicle numbers continued to rise, fuel consumption did not slow, and no behavioral shifts were recorded among drivers.
Now imagine being bright, curious, and eager to learn, yet denied access to education because of a condition you did not choose. That is the reality of 10-year-old Esther from Adaklu. Though eager to go to school, her condition has made it difficult to access the support she needs. Her story is now a call for help so she can receive the care and education every child deserves.
Disabilities often face stigma, neglect, and limited access to care. But for a moment in Ho in the Volta region, laughter, learning, and love took center stage. Let Me Impact Group, in collaboration with the Kekeli Foundation, rolled out the Beyond the Story initiative, a special donation and outreach program aimed at supporting children with developmental disabilities and their caregivers. The initiative, themed Different, Not Less, created a safe and joyful space for the children through fun activities and interactive sessions, while caregivers were taken through brief and impactful sessions on managing stress and emotional well-being. Among the beneficiaries is 10-year-old Esther, who lives at Adaklu. Her story reflects the quiet strength of many children living with developmental challenges and the resilience of families who care for them daily. 3 months after giving birth, I noticed my child's development was delayed, so we took her to the hospital. The hospital asked us to be patient and wait until she was 6 months old. I waited, but there was no improvement. When I returned, they referred her for physiotherapy and later to the whole teaching hospital. She was only able to sit at 18 months, and her speech was also delayed. She only started trying to talk around age 2. So everything has been my responsibility. I really need assistance to send my child to school. I've also been told she would need a caregiver at school, so the burden is not placed entirely on the teacher. Organizers say the initiative goes beyond material support, focusing on restoring dignity, awareness, and inclusion for children often left out of mainstream conversations. Abigail Foriwa Frimpong is CEO of Let Me Impact Group.
For some items for donation, we're also looking at the Beyond the Story initiative, where we pick one child, look at the need of the child, come to the child's aid, and then solicit for funds to support this child. We are calling on everybody to come on board.
For caregivers, the engagement offered reassurance that they are not alone and that support systems, no matter how small, can make a meaningful difference.
On behalf of the Kekeli Foundation, parents and the kids, we want to say a very big thank you for bringing joy into our lives during this Christmas.
I want to use opportunity to thank Life Me Foundation. God bless you all. God bless you.
As conversations around inclusion continue to grow, initiatives like this remind society that being different does not mean being less. Through this outreach, Let Me Impact and the Kekeli Foundation are appealing to individuals, organizations, and institutions to support Esther's access to education, physical therapy, and speech and language therapy. They believe that with the right support, children like Esther can thrive and contribute meaningfully to society.
And 21 persons with disabilities have received life-changing support aimed at improving their livelihoods and promoting self-reliance. At a presentation ceremony at Banda Hinko, the District Chief Executive Peter Dongi described the intervention with startup funds as unprecedented at the district for PWDs. He said a strict monitoring system will ensure the beneficiaries are positively impacted. Precious Semevo has more.
When you are living with a disability, you become one of the poorest persons within that community because you cannot work. That's what we are experiencing in Banda.
The feelings of some persons with disabilities expressed by the Banda chairman of PWDs, Emmanuel Yaudonko. To improve their situation, the Banda District Assembly, through the Disability Common Fund, has distributed startup tools and capital to 121 PWDs at 510,000 Ghana cedis, described as unprecedented in the district. The support following a needs assessment to identify sustainable ways of empowering the PWDs includes 90 deep freezers, an industrial sewing machine, a motor tricycle, 17 fufu machines, 4 containers, as well as medical and educational support. Peter Dongi is the Banda DCE.
We went out and did needs assessment. So willingly, they decided that I need this. Why do you need this? I have a daughter who can be selling water. I have this who can be doing this. Some are even doing some petty business already. So they need such an item to boost their business so that they can earn a living.
41-year-old seamstress Akosia Janet said her disability made it difficult to work with a manual sewing machine. She believes the industrial sewing machine will significantly improve her productivity and income.
I said, one week, not Makuma, the way they made this, I mean, not Klogua, and I make money, and Yemisabium,
the Banda PWD chairman, who got a motor tricycle, hopes members will use the support responsibly to improve their financial standings.
If any item that is allocated to you, if you use it wisely, judiciously, it will benefit you. But if you keep it outside, or if you sell it to somebody, it means you will suffer in the long term. So my advice is that we should give them into a good use.
The DC said strict monitoring mechanisms have been put in place to ensure the intervention achieves its intended impact.
The enforcement we have done, I'm going to use that to track. So to find someone with such a fridge being embossed in the name of Banda District Assembly, if you bought it from such a person, the fellow will be picked by the police so that we trace to the person who also sold it to. We will do the rest and we will monitor so that the services of the president may not be in vain.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Banda.
Now, to other stories, over 4,000 widows in the Sisala West District received rice and wax prints ahead of the new year, bringing smiles to beneficiaries. The donation was made by Deputy Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Mohammed Adam Suparu, who presented each widow with a 5 kg bag of rice and a half piece of wax print. He called for increased support for widows and other vulnerable groups. Joining us is Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
According to the Deputy Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Mohammed Adam Suparu, he initiated the whole project last year with the aim of giving support to widows from the length and breadth of the Sasala West constituency. Mohammed Sukwaru revealed that he has a difficult upbringing. His mother was a widow, and he remembers the difficulties that she went through to bring him and his other siblings up. Growing up under the difficult circumstances has toughened and shaped him to understand the feelings of less privileged people in society, particularly widows.
I'm a son of a widow. I know how my mother suffered in taking care of us. And so for me to become the member of parliament and also a deputy minister, if I turn my back at where I am coming from, it means that my future will not be good for me. And so, having been a son of a widow, I started this project since last year. No matter how small it is, we will try our possible best to bring all the widows in Sisala West together under one umbrella, so that at every point in time, we can be engaging them.
With a day left for the celebration of the new year, the Sisala West Member of Parliament distributed among the 4,000 widows in the constituency 800 bags of rice and 1/2 piece of wax print valued at 650,000 Ghana cedis to enable them celebrate the new year.
And very soon, by the grace of God, we'll be celebrating the new year. These are mothers and sisters who do not have anybody to look up to for the celebration of the new year. Many of them will be home, very sad, because it is a day that everybody will be celebrating. People will be celebrating with their husbands. They do not have somebody they can also look up to and say that, this is my husband. Can you give me something to also go to the market and buy at least a 2 kilogram of rice to come and cook for the children? And so I decided to take it upon myself to marry all the 4,000 widows in my constituency. And so if you ask them who is their husband, they all point to me as their member of parliament. Because we didn't start it today, we started last year. And I told them that I have decided to marry them. And I am going to be there for them. I will always avail myself for them. Anytime they have any difficulties, they can run to me.
The Sisala West legislature has more plans beneath his leaves for the 4,000 widows.
And this is not going to be the end. We are going to extend the project. We will reach out to other people who are ready to support. It's no longer going to be limited to only the food and the clothing that you've seen here. We ensure that we encourage persons who are willing to support to come to our aid. We'll provide them free medical, when I say medical screening, I'll be bringing medical personnel into the district just so they can have access to medical screening, so that those of them that have conditions that can be treated, I will assist them as the member of parliament to treat them, because they also belong to us. They are our mothers, they are our sisters, and just that nature has decided to take their loved ones. And so it is incumbent upon you and I to ensure that we provide them that particular happiness that they are lacking.
Some of the beneficial widows expressed joy and excitement over the donation. Reporting for J News, Rafiq Salam, Bolu.
And still in the spirit of giving, Reverend Father David Obin Pencil's Behold Thy Mother Foundation, in collaboration with the Global Rosary Network, brought Christmas cheer to aged mothers in Asin, Mansell and nearby communities through a special party, free health screening and the distribution of hampers. The outreach, which also marked Father Pencil's 20th anniversary in the priesthood, served as both an act of gratitude for the prayers of elderly mothers and a step toward his vision of establishing a health facility dedicated to their care.
Reverend Father David Obin Pencil's Behold Thy Mother Foundation brought the Christmas cheer to aged mothers in Asin, Mansell and its environs when the foundation collaborated with the Global Rosary Network to organize a party, free health screening and distribute hampers to them.
One of the directors of the Behold Thy Mother Foundation, Benjamin Ashablay, notes the uniqueness of this year's event.
What makes this year's own unique is that it coincides with Father Pentel's 20th priesthood anniversary celebration. So we are combining the two, and that is why this year it's a bit different and unique. They have prayed for him all this while for the 20 years in his priesthood. These mothers haven't stopped praying for him, and so it is also a way of appreciating their prayers for him in his priesthood. That is why this year we have gone deeper by adding the head screening, and then also to get them a nice package of that cloth for every parent. So we are still praying that God will help us so that we can live our dream. That's the dream of Father Pinto, is to establish the health facility for aged mothers some years to come. We have our plans, and we hope that sooner or later it will be rolled out for people to see that their contributions that they are making or they have been doing, we are making good use of it.
The coordinator for the Global Rosary Network, Reverend Father Pius J.C. Aqua, called on other priests and organizations to support the cause of improving lives of the needy and vulnerable in their communities.
So going forward, I think what Father has started, it shouldn't only end with Father. He's only an individual. He's been able to feed about 400 mothers. I'm also thinking that if others also come on board every Christmas, at least in your own small way, if you could feed maybe 10 people as you're around the area, maybe in your church, in your community, at your workplace, where you live, I think we could do better. So I'm also appealing to all other priests, not only priests, all other men and women of goodwill, to start something small in their corner and help our mothers too. We should also only look at our mothers too. Sometimes our fathers also need some of this attention. So we could also give attention to our fathers also.
A gynecologist at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Dr. Med Gloria Nue and Lunuvo, encouraged medical reviews and checkups when aging.
The little advice is that as people, when we are growing, we are aging, the body changes. So we need to have regular reviews, regular checkups. When we find out, we are told that we have things like raised BP or sugars, we shouldn't deny, because when you deny and you don't take your medications, that is where people develop stroke, people develop complications as a result of the diabetes, such that some parts of their bodies get rotten. Maybe their foot, there's a sore that never goes, and then will cut off your leg. So we don't want all these complications to occur, so that it will be a burden on your family and society. So we encourage everybody to have regular screening, and if you are given the medications, you take your medications religiously and go for your reviews regularly.
From Asen Manso, Abigail Lissel in Chroma reports for Joy News.
Let's stay a while longer on the U-Tide season. Takoradi-bound drivers at the Kaneshie bus terminal blame the shortage of buses and long commute times on terrible roads riddled with potholes, as well as heavy traffic congestion around the terminal, with many travelers still trying to get home in the final days of Christmas and the end-of-year celebrations after spending most of the year in Accra. The pressure on transport services remains high. There's more in the following report.
As the Christmas festivities wind down, Takoradi-bound travelers at the Kaneshie bus station are heading home after spending much of the year working in Accra. They return with smiles but also frustration as they endure never-ending queues at the terminal and prepare to endure the longer than usual trip home.
So we've closed the day's work, the year and then work, and I have to go and see the family in Takoradi.
With a year drawing to a close, I'm heading back to Takoradi for my job in Accra to reunite with my family and share the joy of the festive season together. I'm traveling to Takoradi today. It's my hometown where I reside and run my business.
For drivers, this is cash season. Compared to last year, buses are fuller, queues are longer, and trips are coming faster than expected.
Compared to last year and even earlier ones, we've seen far more travelers this season, especially around Christmas. Business has boomed this year.
Bus terminals are packed, but buses are few. The General Secretary of the Kanishi Takrade Drivers Association, Pakwesi Roxon, says bad roads are to blame. Long delays, endless return trips, and potholes that sometimes burst tires.
This year, we have observed a massive influx of passengers at the station compared to previous years, particularly during this Christmas rush. They are everywhere. Some even sleep over at the terminal if they miss their bus. Sekaswa to Winneba Junction stretch, especially around Liberia Camp, is in terrible shape due to ongoing construction, causing endless headaches. It has affected most of our buses, leading to frequent breakdowns on return trips. Several others are in the workshops right now for repairs. Without these poor roads, drivers could make multiple round trips daily, clearing the long queues and keeping things moving smoothly.
So even as passengers rush home to family, the journey is slowed by broken roads and stalled buses. For Joy News, Evelyn Ampa and Mavis Kabuko's reports read to you.
And that's how we bring you the last edition of the AM News in 2025. I'll see you in 2026. But for more news, please log on to myjonline.com. My name is Denisia Pomaije. The ever beautiful MFA Kosi Adeti will take you to the rest of the AM show. Have a lovely day.